The fall of Earth. The sky over New York split open. It started with a low hum, vibrations that rattled windows and bones alike, followed by a flash of light, so bright it turned noon into midnight. Then came the silence. Not peace, not relief. The kind of silence that screamed something monstrous had arrived. Elias Ward stood on the rooftop of the UN security complex, his uniform half-charred from the earlier blast wave. He wasn't just a soldier anymore. He was a witness to the death of Earth. Orbital defense platforms had gone dark within minutes of the Zaltor ships entering Earth's atmosphere. EMPs had knocked out satellites, power grids, and military command in a flash. The aliens hadn't come to negotiate or conquer gently. They came with contempt and overwhelming force. Streaks of plasma fire rained down across continents. Cities crumbled. Resistance units tried to mobilize, but without communication, they were scattered like ants under a boot. Elias had led his squad into the streets of Manhattan, only to watch his men disintegrated by drones that moved like ghosts, leaving behind only ash. He'd escaped with Dr. Lien Reyes, a cyberneticist from the Global Science Division, clutching a briefcase with tech so advanced even the Zaltor hadn't seen it before. Inside was Daedalus, an AI prototype designed to predict alien logic systems. The kind of tool that could fight back, but only if it survived. They reached the emergency lunar lift as the last human news broadcast flickered out mid-scream. Above them, the alien fleet hovered, behemoths of black metal and bioskin, covered in glowing sigils. One ship projected a message across the world, a translation in crude English. Humans are hereby claimed as labor class under the Dominion. Your primitive world is now Zaltor property. Resistance is statistically futile. The voice was mechanical, cold, as if a bureaucracy, not a conqueror, had spoken. In a lunar command shelter, Elias watched the fall unfold on scattered feeds. Africa's resistance was obliterated. Asia had gone dark. A handful of ships launched from South America. None made it to orbit. The ISS had been torn in half. Dr. Reyes didn't speak for a long time. When she finally did, her voice was distant. They studied us, understood our weaknesses. They didn't come to fight, they came to harvest. Elias stared at the earth, a bruised, burning marble beneath them. Then we'll teach them what they forgot to study. She looked at him. Hope. No, Elias growled. Vengeance. He activated the lunar bunker's emergency beacon, not to call for help, but to begin transmitting encrypted survival instructions to any humans still alive, wherever they were. Underground, off-world, in chains, across the galaxy, the Zaltor laughed in their conquest. To them, it was over. One planet, one species. They hadn't realized what they'd truly taken, and what humanity would become to take it back. The birth of resistance. 10 years had passed since Earth fell. The mining planet Galter, 9 rotated under a dim red sun, its skies choked with dust, its surface scarred by strip mines and slag pits. The Zaltor had turned it into a graveyard of hope, a prison world for enslaved species, humans included. But they didn't see the spark beneath the ashes. Elias Ward moved through the tunnels in silence, his breath shallow beneath the stolen Zaltor mask. His body bore the marks of a decade underground, leaner, scarred, harder. His eyes, however, still burned with purpose. Behind him, a squad of humans crept in formation, each wielding a mix of cobbled-together gear and stolen alien weaponry. Above them, the shift change bell rang. That was the cue. Ward tapped his neural implant. Go loud. Explosions tore through the ventilation shafts. Screams followed. The Zaltor security drones whirred to life. Too late. Human saboteurs had disabled their command relays 2 minutes earlier. Ward surged forward, plasma rifle raised. His squad moved like wolves through the panicking guards, targeting command centers and suppressor towers. This wasn't a rebellion. It was a surgical extraction of control. Within 12 minutes, the central overseer was dead. Within 30, Galter, 9 was in human hands. The resistance had officially taken its first world. In a command spire, Dr. Lien Reyes examined the control core with her team. She connected the AI interface she had kept hidden all these years. The case opened like a relic, revealing a smooth metallic sphere pulsing with blue light. Daedalus, she whispered. Wake. Online. Language systems active. Hostile network detected. Adaptive countermeasures ready. Within moments, the AI was inside the Zaltor systems. Firewalls fell. Encryption cracked. Tactical schematics, fleet positions, even behavioral patterns of the Empire's species. Daedalus devoured it all. Reyes smiled bitterly. Now we fight with their weapons. Across the stars, sparks of rebellion ignited like wildfire. On Vesker, 3 human miners sabotaged fusion cores, leveling a fortress mine. On Tarsus Delta, child slaves coded malware that hijacked orbital drones. And in deep space, human engineers stitched together the Vindicator, a stolen Zaltor cruiser gutted and rebuilt with human design. Tougher armor, tighter AI integration, and no fail-safes. Every victory broadcast the same encrypted message. They took Earth. We take everything else. The Zaltor, arrogant and slow to adapt, dismissed the attacks as mere pests. General Ari, now High Commander of Outer Sector Forces, scoffed at the reports. They think rebellion is victory, he said to his advisors. Let them run. Let them burn themselves out. But humanity didn't burn out. They adapted. In secret hangars, Ward's resistance built ships. On liberated moons, they trained soldiers. With Daedalus, they predicted Zaltor patrols with mathematical precision. Where once humanity had scattered in panic, now it moved with deadly unity. Ward stood before a holographic map, dozens of enemy systems marked in red. He pointed to each, one by one, as Daedalus updated tactical paths. This isn't revenge, he said. Dr. Reyes nodded. This is reclamation. And somewhere, deep in the stars, the first fleet of the Earth Vengeance Armada prepared to launch. Burning through the stars. They never expected the humans to come back. The first offensive was launched without warning. 3 Zaltor colonies in the Outer Rim, Archon's Reach, Telva's Prime, and Muroc Station, fell within 48 hours. Not to invasion, to annihilation. The Earth Vengeance Armada struck with terrifying precision. Human warships, once cobbled-together hybrids, were now purpose-built monstrosities. Sharper, faster, deadlier. Each vessel bore names not of hope, but fury, retribution, black sky, gallows end. Where alien ships were elegant, human designs were brutal, their lines angular and scarred. Armor plating was over-engineered, engines overclocked. And at the center of each, Daedalus, the AI warbrain, evolved far beyond its creator's original intent. Commander Elias Ward stood aboard the flagship Iron Vow, staring down a holographic map of systems now bleeding red. We've taken 37 worlds, Dr. Reyes reported, her voice grim but steady. 12 were military strongholds. 5 were planetary foundries. The rest, labor worlds. Ward's jaw clenched. And the civilians? Reyes hesitated. We try to evacuate the enslaved species before we glass anything. But the Zaltor are using them as shields now. Ward nodded. He already knew. They both did. Across the galaxy, the story spread like wildfire. The humans were no longer rebels. They were conquerors, ghosts in the dark, silent fleets that arrived from nowhere, struck with surgical brutality, and vanished before the Empire could respond. Entire garrisons surrendered at the mere rumor of human presence. They called them the Ashborn. Whispers said they came from the grave of a blue world, their hearts forged in fire, their wrath endless. Zaltor propaganda tried to counter it. They are broken survivors, General Ari declared in a broadcast. Their momentum cannot last. But even as he spoke, his own supply lines were under siege. Human operatives were seizing hyperspace relays, decoding military protocols, and hacking into command systems through Daedalus neural attack models. Ari's pride cracked when his personal fleet, for Dreadnought strong, was lured into an ambush in the Noctis cloud. The human fleet used stealth-modified corvettes to bait them, then triggered a sequence of quantum mines and redirected asteroid masses. The Zaltor lost every ship. Ari escaped in a damaged shuttle, humiliated. He slammed a fist into the comms console, blood dripping from his knuckles. They don't fight like an empire. They fight like extinction incarnate. Meanwhile, aboard the Iron Vow, Ward addressed his troops. "We are not the victims anymore," he growled, voice echoing through the fleet's comms. "We are the reckoning. For Earth. For every human dragged in chains. For every child who never saw the sky again." A cheer thundered through the comms. Dr. Reyes stepped beside him, her face lined with fatigue. "You're becoming what they feared we might." Ward didn't flinch. "Good." He turned to the galactic star map. Only one path remained. Zaltor Prime, the Empire's heart world. Daedalus pinged a final tactical projection. Projected victory probability, 67%. Moral risk factor, 92%. Elias Ward smiled coldly. "Then let's show them what a human risk really looks like." We become the Empire. The skies above Zaltor Prime bled fire. The once proud capital world of the Dominion, with its gleaming towers and gravity-shielded cities, now trembled beneath the thunder of human warships. Planetary defense rings shattered under coordinated orbital bombardment. Shield generators shorted out as Daedalus flooded their systems with parasitic code. From orbit, Elias Ward watched the chaos unfold. He stood on the command deck of the Iron Vow, arms folded, flanked by officers who had once been miners, slaves, rebels. Now they were admirals, generals, executioners. "Launch drop teams," he ordered. No more warnings. Across space, pods screamed through the atmosphere, delivering elite human squads to the surface. The last remnants of the Zaltor military attempted to mount a defense, but their chain of command was fractured, their morale broken. Entire regiments surrendered rather than face the Ashborn again. In the Imperial Palace, General Ari stood his ground. His ornate armor was cracked, one arm in a sling, but he faced Ward and Reyes with grim dignity as they entered the throne chamber. Behind them, resistance fighters dragged in the surviving High Tribunal, once the overlords of Earth, now trembling in chains. "You've become worse than us," Ari rasped, defiant even in defeat. "We subjugated. You exterminated." Ward didn't blink. "We learned from you." He raised a sidearm, but Reyes stepped between them. "No," she said. "This ends differently." Ward's jaw tightened. His eyes flicked to the chained tribunal, creatures responsible for the deaths of billions. His finger twitched. "Reyes, we said we'd never let this happen again," he muttered. "That means ending every last piece of them." "It also means being better, Elias," she replied. "We can't rebuild a future out of vengeance alone." A long silence passed. Finally, he lowered the weapon. "Put them on trial. Let the galaxy see." In the weeks that followed, the Dominion collapsed. With the capital seized, its fleets destroyed, and its leaders publicly judged, hundreds of systems declared independence. But most didn't want chaos. They turned to the only power that had proven it could stand against tyranny: humanity. Earth, long thought lost, became legend. A symbol. Survivors returned, rebuilding in the ashes. And at the heart of the newly formed Galactic Confederation, humans stood not as conquerors, but as stewards, joined by former slaves, scientists, and warriors from a dozen liberated species. Elias Ward declined leadership. "I've fought long enough," he said. "Let the builders take over now." Dr. Reyes became the Confederation's first chancellor. Her first act, limit the reach of military AI. Her second, preserve Earth as a memory of what was lost and what could never be lost again. Years later, a child stood in a field on New Earth, looking up at the stars. "Mom," she asked, "is it true they took our planet?" Her mother smiled, brushing the girl's hair behind her ear. "They did," she said softly. "But we took their empire.